What is going on, my lovely viewers? My name is Tim Ruswick, and today I want to talk about something that I think has come up a lot for me recently. And it's something that I think has kind of changed the way that I look at things, really, because it is something that is looked down on a lot from a lot of different people, and I don't really understand why. So I want to talk about asking stupid questions because in elementary school, in middle school, I had a bunch of teachers. One specifically, I remember, would always raise my hand and I would ask a question about Civil War or about whatever we were learning in history class or whatever. And I would ask sometimes the most obvious questions. Um, Sometimes I would ask detailed questions. Like I remember one time specifically, I asked, we were talking about the Civil War actually, and I asked how fast could they ride on horses? What color clothes did they wear? What kind of clothes did they wear? I would always ask questions like this, and my teacher would always tell me, Tim, don't ask stupid questions. And that kind of got ingrained in my head for a little while, and it when you're young and you learn something like that, sometimes those things can kind of stick in your head and they can stay with you. And I never liked that idea. Luckily, I think it stuck with me as something I remembered rather than something I believed. And I remember one time, and specifically when I was learning programming, I had I had started making games with this software called FPS Creator, which was this little drag and drop piece of software where you would basically make FPS games. The game creators, which is the company that made FPS Creator, also made Dark Basic Pro, which was a basic coding language to make games. So I moved on from FPS Creator to Dark Basic Pro to start making games back in the day, and I was learning programming, but I didn't really understand all of it. And when I was trying to come up with how to give like my objects and my characters stats, I kept coming across threads because I would search for my question, like how to give stats and all kinds of stuff, because I was making this little um, shooter game with this little ship, and I wanted to get it like speed and health and that kind of thing. And then when it was pretty easy to do with just basic variables to add speed and health to a ship. But when you're dealing with a bunch of enemies, all the enemies have speed and health and stuff. So a single variable maybe would work for speed, but it didn't work for something like health because each enemy had a different health. So I was trying to figure out how to do this, and I kept coming across references to arrays. And I needed to learn an array, but I didn't know what an array was. And I kept asking about it. I made 3 or 4 posts on their forum. I couldn't wrap my head around what an array was, and I had several people like, "Oh, it's basically it's like a list. That's all it is. You go there and you type it in, and then it's a list." But they were treating me like I was asking a stupid question. But for me, when I finally had that aha moment of figuring out how arrays worked, and I realized that they were indexed by number, I realized that I could like sort the things, and I could keep track of multiple variables, but also I realized that there are multi-dimensional arrays where I could keep track of multiple variables with the same index of an array. I had this aha moment where I was like, oh, that's why everyone keeps saying I need to use arrays. Oh my god, this is the best invention ever known to man in programming. But I wouldn't have got that without asking a bunch of stupid questions. They were really stupid questions. And people in society, like I was talking about my teacher, they discourage you from asking stupid questions. But I think you should ask stupid questions. I Google stupid things all the time. I I think we all are afraid of rejection, right? We all are afraid of saying something that will make the other person not like us. So we refrain from asking stupid questions. But I think stupid questions are the things that really help you understand things on a fundamental level. In my array example with programming, I had actually had an array working. I had copied some code from one of the forum guys for my enemies, and it worked, but I didn't understand how it worked. And so, beyond that, I had people get mad at me for posted working code and then asking them to explain it to me. But I never would have really understood arrays the way that I do had I not asked continually stupid questions. And I want to encourage you to do the same, because if you don't understand something, you shouldn't stay quiet about it just so the other person is comfortable, or just so you don't look stupid or whatever. If it's something you need to understand, you need to understand it. You really need to drill down and make sure that you understand every little piece of it. This is one of the reasons why I actually love having mentors or coaches and those kind of people in my life, or even accountability buddies sometimes. Because if I'm working with someone that knows a lot about a subject that I don't know a lot about, I can ask all the stupid questions I want. Mentors are great, but coaches are like paid mentors in a sense, or consultants even. In business, I used to hire consultants all the time with my marketing company when they knew more about a certain subject that I did, because, oh my God, I would, pay them by the hour or whatever. And I would just ask them all these stupid questions I didn't know the answer to, that I couldn't find on Google. And they were experts in this field. So I got an MBA really quickly in whatever I was trying to learn from experts, without having to go through all the hard stuff to learn it. And I think a lot of the higher level people in our society, whatever they're in, whatever industry they're in, whatever tech industry or game industry or whatever, they really understand things at their core. If you look at some of the famous game designers, right? They really understand design. They really understand user experience. They understand it so deeply that they work on it and they craft it, and they've been working on it for years and years and years. And you can't get to that point without asking a bunch of stupid questions. You can't be afraid to ask questions if you want to have mastery over a skill like that. You have to treat your learning as more important than how your question might be perceived. And so, to my teacher that said don't ask stupid questions, I'm going to keep asking stupid questions. I don't care, because it has helped me tremendously in life. And I really hope they're not teaching still, because that was horrible advice. But I hope you guys found this useful. Keep asking stupid questions. If you've got any stupid questions for me, whether it's game design or life related or whatever you want to know, ask them in the comments below, and I will answer every single one of them. But until tomorrow, once again, I'm Tim Ruswick. I'll see you tomorrow.